Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again here with another Q&A. So this is an email that's come through from a gentleman by the name of Chris. So he doesn't mind me sharing his name in here, and he's put down this really nice email and for me anyway, quite a thought-provoking question. So question. So I'll read through this email. He says, "Hi Joe, love the content you put out and your openness and honesty when it comes to training. I noticed in your videos you've spoken about how focused you were on joining the SAS. I'm curious, what drives you now to train every day and the way you train? I mean no disrespect, but you're not training to do selection again and you're not in the military. No disrespect taken, bro. So why continue to get up and train every day?" Great question. He carries on. I'd love to get your thoughts. Feel free to take your time with this one, as I think there's something about former professionals. Thanks for that. I'll take that as a compliment. Something about former professionals who continue to physically look after themselves as though they were still working in that environment. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying there. You see former professional athletes and former soldiers drop off that type of routine and let themselves go. Maybe not a lot, in brackets I don't know, but I'm guessing it must be hard to get up and train when you're no longer needed, question mark. Interesting, man. Again, I mean no disrespect with my comments, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. 100% first off, Chris, no disrespect taken at all. Appreciate your email and your kind, your thoughts and your care and consideration with regards to the wording that you've got here. I'm just reading it off the laptop out of my email. Side note, I saw a video of a former Wallaby, Drew Mitchell, being in the best shape of his life at 41. It might be a good video to do a reaction on, as perhaps some of your thoughts on my question might come out in that video. Anyway, thank you for what you do and for the way you go about doing it. Wishing you continued success with your channel. 500k by the end of this year. That's a lofty goal, mate. Let's effing go, Chris. Yeah, that last part, it is a lofty goal. Yeah, put up a YouTube post on that a while ago now, a number of weeks ago, and haven't looked back at it. Just whether or not I hit that is neither here nor there by the end of this year. If I do, awesome. If I don't, it's no big deal. The process is the process, and I'll just keep chipping away, enjoying doing what I'm doing, and I'm just grateful that I have an opportunity to reach a number of people all around the world through my little channel. So anyway, let's get into these questions. Right. What drives you now to train every day and the way you train? And he spoke about, you're not training to do selection again, which is right, and you're not in the military, which is also right. So why continue to get up and train every day? Man, I'm pretty sure I've spoken about this a number of times, maybe not in response to this type of email, but I know I've written a long War and Peace response to a comment where somebody asked me, why do I train the way that I do? Very similar to this question, but without some of the other bits and pieces which Chris has added in here. I can't remember the name of the handle of that one. I think it was one of the sessions where I had the pack on and I was going around the lagoon. Anyway, I don't remember everything I wrote in there, but I put down a heck of a lot of information. So what drives you to train every day the way you train now? Some of what drives me to train every day is just trying to be that little bit better, that 1% better than I was yesterday. Do I achieve that? Am I being 1% better than I was yesterday continuously as I do that every day? No, I'm not. I no doubt fail a heck of a lot of the time, and I would assume, much like many other people out there that try to tune up and try to be that little bit better each day, but fail spectacularly or fail only slightly from time to time. So I definitely fit into that failing fairly frequently category, but I turn up and I try to put in some work. What drives me? A number of things. So that my family drives me in a positive way, in terms of, I know I've spoken about this, I want to be able to be active for as long and move as well as I can for as long as I can. Not only with my children now, even though they're adults and living their lives for the most part, there's just a couple at home now, but also for eventually, again, another hint, when I'm blessed to one day have grandchildren. I still want to be able to move around for them. I want to be useful in the community. I want to be useful in terms of, if something happens, I want to be physically able to respond. And through that, training the way that I do today, or choosing to try to train each day, helps me not only physically but mentally. I find it enables me to be able to better manage and deal with stress, as an example, better handle and manage relationships, to be able to communicate better and have a clearer mind through training. So, there's a heck of a lot of drivers for me. Am I training for anything in particular? I haven't got anything in particular. Well, mind you, no, in saying that, I do set myself little goals with regards to training. So right now I want to get back down to around about a 9:30, 9:45, 2.4 run if I can. Little bit hindered at the moment. I feel like I was really on track to nail that until my left knee, the medial part of my left knee, has been injured or has been sore. So I've been rehabbing that and just being a bit more disciplined and taking my time with it. So that's a little goal. Is that a big thing? No, it's not a big thing in the bigger picture of things, or it's not a big deal to many people out there that might stumble across this video. But for me, it's another little goal, something to work towards. So do I have a time frame for when I'd like to hit that? Well, I would have liked to have been hitting it by now if it wasn't for my knee, but I'm not, so it doesn't really matter. The process right now is strengthening it back up, sticking to the rehab that I've prescribed for myself, and still get some movement in each day. Getting something in is better than nothing. So that's my take anyway. Other things, I suppose there are a couple of things that I'm more conscious of with my training these days. I'd love to do parts of various selection courses or various physically intensive jobs. So what Magnus has done on his channel has really inspired me, and I think, man, that's awesome. So will I have an opportunity? Will I be allowed to do stuff like that? I don't know, but all I can do is reach out and ask those people. So that helps me, that gives me a bit more focus, and again, another driver with regards to my training and why I train the way that I do. Sorry, the screen just went off. But there's heaps of reasons, to be ready, to be useful, physically and mentally. It's good for me, and I know it's good for anybody that chooses to train and try to look after themselves. So I think there's a lot of benefit in that. I think that's probably enough right now. I know you said I could take my time with the response, but I think that's probably enough, and I'm pretty sure I've touched on some of these things in some other videos. That's the continue physically. So the former professionals who continue to physically look after themselves. You see former professional athletes and former soldiers drop off that type of routine and let themselves go. Maybe not a lot, I don't know. But I'm guessing it must be hard to get up and train when you're no longer needed. So this is the second part. It's got a question mark. For me now, it's not hard to get up and train. Don't get me wrong, it's sometimes difficult in terms of, oh gee, the weather looks a bit crap out there, or man, this bed is nice and warm. But I always can look ahead to how I know I'll feel after. When I've gotten up out of this nice warm bed, when I've gone out, whether it's outside or whether I'm training inside, or whether I've got a sweat up, got that blood flow moving through my body, I know that I've never not felt good after. So apart from maybe some times when there have been some fairly hard sessions where I've spewed up, that didn't feel great at the time, but I'll tell you what, I felt great after, like getting rid of that gunk that was sitting in here not fully digested, just waiting to be turfed up, because maybe I was just a bit slack with the eating or whatever. I've always felt good after that, even though it sucked at the time. So that part must be hard to get up and train when you're no longer needed. Yeah, I suppose it's a matter of perspective, eh? Like, I would say be kinder to yourself. It took me a long time to learn this. I definitely connected my training and what I did with who I thought I was, or who I was at the time as a soldier, and what I wanted to do, and the reasons why I was doing it, and my identity and purpose was all wrapped up into being this soldier, being a member of the SAS, and it was great, man. I loved it. And so therefore, when I got out and I was no longer connected to that environment, it left a huge hole. But if anything, I didn't want to drop off just because I was no longer needed or serving in that capacity anymore, because I always knew in here and in here that I was needed within my family, that I was needed by my wife, I was needed by our children, I would be needed by other people that I've had the privilege to work with over the years. And so, you know, maybe I'm not needed by those other work environments where I was working at that time anymore, and that's okay, but there's still a need. I need to turn up for my family. And I think equally important, if not more important, I'm sort of on the fence of this one, I'd probably sit them both side by side. For me, I need to turn up for me. You know, I need me to be as good a version as I can for myself, so that I can better translate that out, or so that I can better project that, I don't know what the right word is, so that I can better help and serve other people. So if I turn up looking like a blinking big fat slob, and all I do is complain and whinge and moan about I can't do this, I can't do that, or I couldn't get to this because this thing happened, or I couldn't make time to train because blah 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 came up, whatever, then I wouldn't want to be around that person either. I wouldn't want to be around me if that's how I chose to turn up each day. And so, you know, I think there's a choice there. When you've mentioned in here, Chris, must be hard when you're no longer needed. I think that's a definite choice. You can choose to need yourself, and I think everybody should. And so I try to do that. I don't always have that forefront of mind. I've probably just thought about that more since reading this really nice email, to be honest. I've always thought of it externally, in terms of other people need me, and I want to be as useful and as helpful as I can to and for them. So that's that. I think this other part, was just your side note. Former Wallaby Drew Mitchell, best shape of his life, reaction to that. Maybe I'll have a look. Thank you very much. Also, I forgot to mention you provided the link for that, so I'll look to try to get to that when I can. Sounds interesting, but again, if I was to try to summarize this just off the top now, not that it's a question in here, but it's a thought that's come to my mind. I don't think you or I or we or anybody should need a goal or a sport or a profession. This is just my take, and this is upon my reflection after years after, right? So take it for what it's worth. I don't think you need a goal. I don't think, don't get me wrong, it's healthy and it's awesome when you've got something to dial in on and focus in on and really improve. I've reaped the benefits of that, in terms of adopting that mindset and drilling down into what I needed to do in order to try to be successful in what I wanted to do. But all of that aside, because I'm not in that space anymore and haven't been for a very, very, very long time, I've not needed that type of goal or that type of environment to work in to drive me to train. As I've mentioned, there's a whole bunch of other drivers. You know, do you just want to move for as long as you can, as well as you can, without the use of medication, without having, you know, a whole bunch of surgeries or whatever it is that you need, you know, supports to help you get around, whatever. I think there's a value in trying to stay as mobile and as active as you can for as long as you can. And so, I don't subscribe to I need to have a goal. As long story short, I don't subscribe to that need to, I have to have a goal before I get up and train, because if I don't have a goal, well, then it's pointless training. That's a crock, if you ask me. I don't think anybody needs to have a goal in order to train. When you get up and train and you make that a consistent, disciplined habit every day, you're gonna feel it like I feel it when you don't train or when I haven't trained, and it will manifest itself like it does for me, in terms of me being more grumpy, me not being happy because I'm thinking, man, I didn't get a session in today. And when I review back over that day in my head, I'm thinking that's rubbish. I should have just made some time. So hence why, if I've only got a couple of minutes, I'll look to do something in those couple of minutes. Right now, when I'm doing recording and stuff like that, when I take a break, I'll look to get some sort of movement in. I might only end up with, who knows, some days might only end up with 50 push-ups or something, with a few pull-ups and some squats and some lunges or whatever. It's not much. That might total to be about, I don't know, 3-5 minutes worth of work. But if in that day you've been super busy and that's all you've been able to get in during that time because you made time for it, you chose to make some time, well then in my opinion that's better than nothing. So I'm grateful, I'm blessed right now though that I don't have to just limit myself to those. I can actually make time to train. So that being said, I'll use some video footage from today's training. I'm going to train a little bit earlier today because I've got to head to Palmerston North for the battalion birthday, and I'm looking forward to seeing some awesome men that I haven't seen in a very, very long time. And yeah, just looking forward to connecting with them. If I'm lucky, I might see my two boys there as well, but they'll probably be hanging out with their friends, but that's okay. So yeah, and I'll see, maybe I'll trial doing the footage from today, which I'll do after this, and use that footage as the background while I'm talking or something like that. So we'll see how it goes. Something to play with, something to keep the brain cells ticking over in my mind. But again, Chris, thank you very much for the question, bro. No disrespect taken whatsoever. Really thoughtful question. I know you did say I could take my time. I've tried to take my time as much as I can and could, and hopefully it helps in some small way for maybe not only your own curiosity, Chris, but also for anybody else that might also be scratching their head and going, what's this clown bloody training every day for? Why is he up at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever? So yeah, anyway, if you made it this far, thank you very much for your time as always. I really do appreciate it. Here's the version 1 of the Reckoning t-shirt, the 30 representing the 30 hours, the Reckoning on the front, New Zealand flag on the left sleeve, and then on the back it's just got the earned never given piece up around the top part by the collar. So I'll do a separate update on that later. Anyway, right now I've got to sort this out and then get some training, and to have that in the background while I do some training, and you can listen to me ramble on. So as always, anybody going through any difficulties, hard times, challenges, I just encourage you to keep tuning up, keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, take one day at a time. Know that these lonely, hard, miserable times, these challenges that you're facing right now, will not last forever. They are only temporary. Things can do and will get better, I promise you. So as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all. Alright, that's that. I don't know how long that took, but hopefully it's around about the same length of time as it took for me when I was wearing the Reckoning t-shirt and doing the voiceover, not voiceover, but answering the Q&A from Chris. And then I've come out here, as I said I would, got a bit of a session in. Hopefully that goes for around about the same time as what my talking was. If not, then I'll just put this at the start. But yeah, just had no plan, but knew that I was going to do something with my legs, so decided to 30 kilos total, just a 5 kilo plate either side of the safety squat bar. Started off with squats, slow descent and slow coming up, 10 reps, then 100 step ups, then come back off, did another round, slow descent, slow coming up, but that was slightly quicker on the way down than it was, it was for the first two sets, slow down but coming up relatively as normal as I could. Second set was a little bit quicker on the descent, and round about the same coming up. Third and fourth sets was just tried to move through as evenly as I could, 10 reps and 10 reps, and after each of those 10 squats, then 100 step-ups. So 10 squats, 100 step-ups, whichever leg I went first, then another 10 squats, 100 step-ups with the other leg, 10 squats, 100 step-ups, 10 squats, 100 step-ups. Then after that, that's 200 step-ups on each leg, so 400 total. Then I was going to do 40 just straight, so it would match the first 4 rounds that I did. Ended up doing 50. Once I got to 50, I thought, well, I might as well round it up and get 100 total squats. So I ended up doing 60. Breathing, taking my time, just having the weights sit on my shoulders. Got through 60 of those. Hopefully I did 61, just to make sure in case I miscounted. And then finished off with 51 step-ups on each leg. So a total of 500 step-ups and 100 squats at 30 kilos. The step-ups with the 30 kilos as well. So just staying in that miserable place. It wasn't that miserable, to be honest, but pretty boring. Shoulders aren't too bad. Definitely feel it in the legs. Knee feels great, although there was a little bit of tightness. So on my squats, where you see me not going all the way down with the A to G or backside to grass type squat, that's because I can't. It puts too much stress on the inside of my knee right now at the moment. So when I can eventually get to that, then I will. But right now, trying to, just stopping at the point where it's pain-free and not looking to push beyond to where I start to feel any pain. So I just want to stay in that pain-free range of motion at the moment, and then I'll still give this a good massage after. So anyway, that was this afternoon session. Got the battalion birthday to head to in Linton Military Camp, so I'll pretty much be getting showered up, get some stretching in where I can, grab my wife's gua sha stone and blink and rub the heck out of this, edit, upload, set it to pop up on your feed if you are subscribed, and then and then you can watch me ramble away answering the question that come through from Chris around the drive to train and all that sort of thing. Well, this plays in the background. Hopefully I'll get that sorted out. But anyway, appreciate your time. Thank you for stopping by. If you're here once again, I really do appreciate your support. As always, the message is the same. Keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, regardless of your challenges, trials or struggles that you may be going through. Put one foot in front of the other, take one day at a time. Know that things can and will get better, I promise you. So as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation and gratitude for you all.